Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Darcenovia. How you guys doing? Today, well, is the end of 2020. And, well, there's a lot to talk about. Now, this is an open topic stream, so anything goes. If you want to like ask any questions or you want to talk about anything, well, it's fair game considering there is no limit what we're going to talk about. And if you want to be part of the stream, I will give you an invite. Everything goes in here. Anyway, I'm just going to give it a few minutes. I'm not going to talk about anything of significance because, well, I want to at least wait until, I get at least a few other people watching. Actually, B-level, I delayed it by a few hours in case something came up, like rent and stuff, but everything's pretty much closed. So this was actually the intended time. Anyway, it's good that you're here. If you want to be on the stream, I'll invite you on. Just let me know if you want to be on the stream and I'll invite you. After all, this is an open invite for anyone that wants to be on. I do not know, actually, if I gotta research because I don't know who they are. I'm sorry. Hey, Sub Money, what's up? For anyone who's here who just got here, this is an open discussion. Anything goes. Geek, political, whatever the hell you want to talk about, it's here. Well, we can talk about anything because this is what this kind of stream is. Everything goes. So don't hesitate to talk about anything or ask me any questions. Probably, unfortunately. Now, I'm not completely against the lockdowns. What I'm against is, well, if you're going to force people to lock down, at least give them the ability to fucking survive. At least give them a fucking check. At least give them the ability to be able to pay the rent. Don't fucking force people to lock down if they're unable to actually make ends meet. And also, if you're going to force people to lock down, practice what you preach and don't freaking criticize, what you consider the peasants of not following shit that you're not following yourself. That's where I stand on the lockdowns. I'm not against the lockdowns. I'm only against them if you're not offering people a way to be able to financially support themselves in these hard times. All right. It was a mess, but not everything bad came of 2020. I reevaluated many of my political positions. I left, a toxic, Star Wars group and a podcast that I was once a part of. So not everything was bad in 2020. I mean, I know who my enemies are. I know who my friends are because of this pandemic. So not everything is bad. It doesn't shock me considering he never denounced, geeks and gamers. Honestly. Then again, I've had issues with Star Wars theory for years, honestly. I mean, this guy has such an ego. He's such a normie. Like, he does a bunch of stupid videos, and when he actually talked about the EU, he did. There's so many things he gets wrong that it's fucking cringe. Oh, no, I don't want those guys involved in Star Wars. No, I don't want anybody involved with South Park involved. Oh, I'm still doing expanded universe reviews. I'm doing it at my own pace at this point. I'm currently reading the fourth X-Wing novel, which the review of it will be out early 2021. So sorry if, I'm taking a long time. I have a lot of books to read. I'm not a fan of Lethal Weapon. And I didn't even know there was a fifth one. I mean, holy crap. Can these movies, like, stop? I mean, can we not get any more sequels, please? Yeah, I agree. Star Wars theories, freaking Star Wars knowledge is from Wikipedia. And that, to me, is pissing me off. Honestly, if you have to use Wikipedia for your Star Wars knowledge, that's just bullshit. I mean, okay, it'd be one thing if he actually read the books or was using Wikipedia, maybe doing some research because he doesn't have all the facts about behind the scenes stuff. But when it comes to like the actual stories themselves, no, just no. Honestly, there's no excuse. It's not like these books are rare or anything. You could literally get them on Kindle. There is really no excuse for, you know, being ignorant when it comes to EU knowledge, other than laziness. I can't say what I think of the Urban Acolyte. I'm indifferent to him. I think I think his videos are all right, though. If I had to be honest, he doesn't interest me as a YouTuber. Oh yeah, the Phantom Menace are fucking insane. I mean, they're like hardcore Trump supporters. A lot of them, and not to mention the overt racism they showed over the George Floyd protest. To me, I feel like anybody that had not left by that point, in my are essentially white supremacists and don't actually care about any form of social justice. And I do feel like 2020 has exposed the Phantom Menace once and for all as being a group of neo Nazis. And those who left, kudos to you for leaving, because holy shit, the Phantom Menace have gotten worse. You know, if that's even possible. Honestly, if he was hardcore into the lore, he wouldn't be he wouldn't be he wouldn't be worshiping Filoni. He would just see Filoni as, again, another fan of Star Wars. I know you don't like Filoni, B-Level, but we cannot say he is not a fan. We cannot say that, even though he's probably the thing he's the biggest fan of is Ahsoka. Oh God, no, 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 absolutely not. Rob Zombie, no, just fucking no. That'd be awful. That'd be terrible. That'd be fucking terrible. You could skip the TCW stuff. Skip the TCW related books and comics. They're not worth your time. Seriously. Honestly, they're really not worth your time. Only one of them is good, and that's Wild Space. The rest, I feel like, are not worth your time. They're just not good stories. The novelization is decent. No Prisoners is boring and it's short, and the Gambit duology is too goddamn long. You're better off just skipping them, honestly, if you want to know my opinion. If you want to read Clone Wars era material, there's way better material you can read. Like Republic Commando, Matthew Stover's Shatterpoint. Don't waste your time with TCW related material. It's not worth it. I agree with that. But again, that's already a point. I don't know what you're talking about, if I have to be honest. So I'm just going to move on with that. If I had to be honest here, I'm not excited because it's EA. Because EA, if I have to be honest here, they do not make good games. And Fallen Order being good is a fluke. And honestly, I just see them like fucking up. Even if there is another Star Wars game. Unless they get the same people involved in Fallen Order to make a Star Wars game, I have no freaking hope. If I had to be honest, what's the point, B-level? There's overwhelming evidence, and let's be honest here, majority of the anti-Phantom Menace do not care. The only people that care are people that do genuinely care about social justice. Like, the Major Lees of the world do not care. People like Willie's Reviews, he cares. But people like him, you, me, and Broden, we're the minority, unfortunately, in the anti-Phantom Menace camp. They don't care about, the racism. I mean, Jacob's Quest, for fucking sake, could have easily buried the Phantom Menace, at least with his videos. They don't care, unfortunately. It doesn't matter how racist the Phantom Menace is. You cannot convince these people to say that they're racist. Unfortunately, most of the people just do not care because geeks are fucking reactionary, whether they're pro-Phantom Menace or anti-Phantom Menace. Honestly, you have to, I feel like you have to be a leftist to genuinely be against the Phantom Menace, because a lot of these people they don't truly oppose the Menace. The only thing they oppose is their hatred of The Last Jedi. Okay, I gotta keep up with these, comments. Oh, if I had to be honest, I hate the idea of it. It strips the individuality of the clones, and it basically makes Order 66 not as tragic, honestly. I feel like the finale of Clone Wars would have been much more powerful if the clones generally had to choose a side. It would have been add some depth to the characters if they did not have the chip. The chip to me was just a cheap way for kids to see their favorite characters do evil things, even though kids aren't stupid. And I feel like Dave Filoni was kind of treating his audience like they were idiots. I could see some merit to that, but centrism is not the way to go, my friend. Trust me. Centrists will always side with fascists. I mean, look what Den of Nerds, he has so much more in common with the Phantom Menaces. A lot of these people don't criticize the Menace for doing racist things. It's a good idea to look at both sides of the story, but do not be a centrist. Being a centrist is an awful idea. I don't know anything about Ice Age. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 2, but I've heard it was terrible. I've heard nothing but mixed reactions towards it. That's good. That's good you're starting now, but do not be a centrist. Honestly, being a centrist is the last thing you should be. Though you should fully investigate what you're supporting and what you're against. That's what you should do, and that is a good idea. Mao Zedong, in one of his writings, no investigation, no right to speak, goes deep into detail on, investigating a problem. You cannot understand a problem unless you fully investigate it. That's how you should approach things. If you want to see things from both sides, investigate the problem and come to your own conclusion who's right and who's wrong. That's how you should do it. Yeah, that is true. I feel like the problem with the inheritor chips, I feel like it basically made, Order 66 redundant. Okay, you guys already indoctrinate these clones. Why are you having a Order 66 basically forced them to do this? What's the point of them going through this hardcore indoctrination? It's redundant. And it feels like Dave Filoni just did something really redundant. And this isn't about preferring the EU. I'm just talking about the show itself. It's really stupid. I honestly feel like Rex siding with Ahsoka willingly would have been a more powerful, finale than him basically just, I'm going to side with Ahsoka because she took the chip out. It's really stupid. I do think prequel haters have ruined Star Wars. I really do. But again, I have to. There's so many comments that if I addressed one for too long, I'm not going to be able to keep up with them all. Oh, yes, he did. Okay, sorry guys. I gotta keep up with these comments. No. My superhero my New Year's resolution is bullshit, but if I was gonna believe in that, read more. And lose weight. That's my resolution. That's what mine would be if it exists. Jesus, there's so much crap. Okay. Okay, sorry guys. No, if I cannot. Okay, I'm finally caught up. Oh god. I don't know if George will ever release the last book. Yeah, fuck 2020. Oh yeah, he would call out Malcolm X. Actually, Malcolm X would be calling him out. I haven't watched Scooby Doo in like 20 years. If I had to be real, actually, so I can't really comment on that. Honestly. Okay, now let's see. I gotta. So I'm just gonna get a quick drink. Okay. Oh, Lockdown. Lockdown, I think, is a great book. If you're a Darth Maul fan and you want to know what a ultra violent Star Wars story is, Darth Maul Lockdown is the story for you. I reviewed it a few years ago. I think it's one of the best Star Wars stories, in my opinion. And if you're into the dark and gritty stuff that shows a different side of the Star Wars universe, and you're a Darth Maul fan, yeah, it is definitely a great story to read. I really don't care if Papa Hidalgo made fun of Star Wars theory. I really don't. I still don't care. I don't even like Hidalgo, but I don't care. Yeah, this year has been awful. It really has been. Hello. Hi. All right. Well, B level, happy New Year, man. The actor who played Rocky Balboa is Stestial Stallone. I hope I pronounced that right. All right. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Oh, God. Death to sequels. I wish we would stop getting sequels to these movies that have come out decades ago. I mean, not everything needs to have a remake or a sequel. Some things are just better off just left in the past. That's the problem. Then again, we live under capitalism after all, where capitalism will always, you know, reinvent movies, old films, and do it in a way that is a little bit different than the original. But at the end of the day, they're really not. Unless I'm forced to, fuck no. Fuck no. I do not. Okay. I know I've said this on multiple streams. I'm no anti vaxxer. I think the anti vax movement is nothing but reactionary nonsense and is just endangering, people unnecessarily. I think the anti vax movement is idiotic. But for this case, okay, COVID-19, how can you make a vaccine for something that is mutating? And not to mention, the effects the vaccine could have, I can lose a week's worth of work because of it. And I don't trust it. Honestly, if you ask me, the politicians should all take the vaccine first. And if they don't fucking collapse and die, then maybe I'll consider doing it. I will not do it unless my employer forces me to take it. I will not take the vaccine otherwise. It's fuck the vaccine. It's bullshit. I cannot comment on that. If I had to be honest, that's wishful thinking. I don't think the sequel trilogy will be erased. The best you can hope for is them to be completely ignored. I'm sorry. As much as I hate the sequels, they're here to stay. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just refuse to take the vaccine unless I'm forced to. I don't watch them, so I wouldn't know. Oh, yes, I agree. Independent works should be supported. Honestly, if you don't support independent works, you're dumb. And you have no right to complain about films if you're not willing to support independent movies. Yes, it does. And they're doing it within less than a year. I find it highly suspicious that the vaccine is being offered now when we're not even close to, you know, when we're not even close to, we're not even, because the thing is mutated. Like, who's to say this vaccine will work on the current strain of the vaccine? We're like not even the second wave yet. It just feels like what they're really doing is they're just trying to, they're trying to end this as soon as possible. They can open up the country. That's all this is. They don't care about our lives. They don't care that, millions upon millions of people are going to be in extreme poverty. They don't care that millions upon millions of people are going to die. The only thing they care about is the economy. That's it. They don't care about human lives. That's the only reason this vaccine is being forced on us. It's not in the goodness of their heart. I have no idea. I didn't even know that such a thing was happening. I guess so. If I can't stand Seth MacFarlane, the guy's a fucking asshole. The guy's a fucking prick. He's just a freaking idiotic liberal that cannot resist, saying his stupid opinions. Yeah, fuck Bill Gates. Bill Gates should just take one vaccine. He should take 3. No, wait, why stop with 3? Why not 4? Fuck Bill Gates. And no, this is not an anti-vax position. I just do not trust, the COVID vaccine. It's too convenient for it to, like, hey, I'm Joe Biden, a half dead, senile old man. I suddenly have the vaccine. Oh wait, did we have the vaccine? I don't know. I forgot this message. Knowing freaking Joe Biden, if he took the vaccine, he probably would forget that he took the vaccine and would take another vaccine. Unless one of his assistants told him, "I'm sorry, Mr. President, you actually I've taken the vaccine." Oh God, it's the horror. In like less than 20 days from now, we're gonna have Joe Biden as president. In about 20 days from now, what the fuck kind of world do we live in when Joe Biden is gonna be our president? And then in a few months or years, we'll have Kamala Harris. What a time to be alive, folks. Hey, but at least we'll have the first woman president bombing the whole fucking world. I guess we have that. Oh, yeah. Shatterpoint's a great book. I'd recommend reading it. It's one of my favorites. I reviewed it a few years ago. Predator 5. You got to be kidding me. Yes, it is, thanks to American stupidity. I can't say I miss 90s culture because I was a child in the 1990s. And yeah, I grew up through most of the 1990s. I mean, for the first like, you know, Jesus, the first like 11 years of my life wasn't in the 1990s. I don't it wasn't I don't know if it was a good or bad time. But hey, at least we had a rate at least we didn't have as shitty of a president as we do now. I'd say the right is more actually using nerds as political weapons than the left. The left don't give a shit about this nerd shit. I'm just gonna be honest here. I've been in many like communist groups on social media. They don't give a shit about this nerd shit. They just think of it as liberal nonsense. I have no thoughts on that. Hey, what's up? Oh, she will be. You think Joe Biden is freaking healthy enough to last for 4 years? Do you think she's gonna last 8? Come on, come on. Joe Biden is like a fucking million years old. He'll freaking. There's no way he's gonna be able to be president for that long. The guy is not even mentally stable. The guy isn't has been in decline mentally for years. He isn't the same as he was in the Obama years. The guy is ancient. He's going to be the oldest person sworn in as president in the history of this country. And I just can't get over the fact that Joe Biden won. I still can't get over that fact. I still can't get over the fact that Joe Biden won. I really cannot get over it. Well, here's the thing. The reason why the right is taking advantage of the nerds and basically using them is because nerds suffer from alienation in society, and fascists take advantage of those people and brainwash them into their way of thinking. That's why you see so many nerds that are fascists in terms of their worldview. It's because of that reason. People who are apolitical are more likely to accept fascist ideas because certain people will basically tell them, oh, this is not really political, to the point where they will eventually be saying literal far right rhetoric despite them claiming to be apolitical. There is no such thing as being apolitical. Being apolitical is bullshit. It doesn't exist. Geek culture is a fucking mistake. I think going back in time would be too dangerous. The only thing if I went back in time, I'd probably make it so the Soviets won the Cold War, so we wouldn't be in this freaking hellscape that we live in now. That's what I would do if I were to go back in time. To honestly, if the Soviet Union won the Cold War, I cannot predict what kind of world we'd be living in, but I could tell you it'd be far better than where we live now. I mean, look what happened since the Soviet Union fell. The United States just went on a killing spree and just went to war with country after country, bombed country after country, and freaking just it's insane. We've been in the same war for like 20 years. Despite what the liberals will tell you, the end of history at the time, that's what they said the fall of the Soviet Union was. the end of history, 30 years almost since the fall of history, things have gotten worse. Living conditions have gotten worse. Poverty is on the rise. And anyone that says that the fall of the Soviet Union was a good thing are objectively wrong. They really are objectively wrong. The Eastern Bloc hasn't been the same since the Soviet fell. The poverty for workers in the first world has increased. The exploitation of the third world has only increased. Without the America, without the Soviet Union to hold the beast back, America has been doing whatever the hell it wants. So it was a tragedy that the Soviet Union fell. Regardless if you like the Soviet Union or not, the facts are the facts. They did hold America back from doing what it wanted. With nobody to stop, America now, America has been doing what it's wanting, for decades as the sole superpower. And of course, the ironic thing about the fall of the Soviet Union was also the decline of the American empire as well. So we're witnessing the end times, honestly, for the American empire. I don't know. I mean, someone revived Stalin. Stalin would probably say, "Oh, fuck. You have all these fucking idiots worshiping me like a god. What the hell? What did I say about cult of personality? I hate that shit." Stalin would probably freaking think all these, internet freaking communists are fucking stupid and childish. That's what he probably would think if he was alive. Yeah, they are. Well, here's the thing. The reason why Prager University is going after schools and trying to force their bullshit into schools because they can't, indoctrinate, kids otherwise. Because their way of thinking is dying. They have no other way of trying to force backwards bullshit onto the population. That's why you're not going to see America ever move forward as a society. It's because, of organizations like Prager University. And I know some people may not like to hear this. I do believe in some form of censorship. Prager University should not be allowed to spread their garbage. It's dangerous, and it basically puts back human progress by decades by allowing Prager University to spread their nonsense. As bad as censorship is, it's a necessary evil if you want to protect your society from devolving into what is modern day America, a reactionary state that any form of mild reforms is considered too radically left. That's where we got ourselves into. In a just world, Prager University would not be allowed to exist. Wait, really? I don't believe that. That sounds like bullshit. 9/11 was an inside job. Nobody's changing my mind. Fuck you. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job. Don't believe the bullshit that the people tell you. Don't believe people when they say, "Oh, there's evidence for this and that and that." No. You just cannot have these buildings collapse for no goddamn reason. No. 9/11 is an inside job. I think it's bullshit to assume, "Oh, but why would the government attack their own people?" I don't know. There's declassified documents of the government, having a plan to have a false attack on, Florida in order to start a war with Cuba. You're telling me they wouldn't consider doing that? Come on. It's so freaking naive to think that, the American government wouldn't kill its own people. They don't give a fuck about its own people. They see us as nothing more than cattle. The government is evil. Of course it. That's so. They've all. Why is the band called Rage Against the Machine? All music is political. Anyone that says otherwise is an idiot. It does need to be gone. Oh, I have no comment. That's just so stupid. I don't watch Saturday Night Live. If I do, I watch like in chunks. I don't watch, Saturday Night Live. It just doesn't interest me. Yeah, they are dumb. Reactionaries are stupid in general. Oh my god, why is everything so political? Actually, what you actually like is more political than the stuff that you hate. I mean, if you want an example of apolitical entertainment, look at the fucking Star Wars sequels. Uh, Last Jedi aside, there's nothing political about those movies. There's nothing thought provoking about the sequel trilogy. It's just nothing more than Michael Bay popcorn nonsense. That's all those movies are. Let's be honest. Is there a difference between SJWs and anti SJWs? They're both SJWs. They both have a thin skin. They both like lose their fucking shit, over the littlest things. They both, ruin everything. I mean, SJWs are basically not any different than anti SJWs. They're the same side of the same coin. It's all a bunch of white, people, let's say white men talking about nonsense. And it's just basically the same thing. They're both white supremacists. They're both sexist. It's like, what is the difference between SJWs and anti-SJWs? Be real. They're mostly white men and white middle class women. That's it. That's all these people are for the most part. So fuck the SJWs and fuck the anti-SJWs. They're both the same side of the same cancerous reactionary, coin. Fuck them. Those people don't know what socialism is if they say that. They don't even know what communism is or fascism or capitalism is. So, okay, socialism in America to the average American is oh my god, it's the government. Oh my god, it's free shit. If you're going by these stupid fucking college kids that are Bernie supporters, it's like Americans have no grasp of what socialism is, communism, fascism, or capitalism is. Then you have the really stupid people that think we don't have capitalism in America. We have cronyism. What the fuck that means? Cronyism, I guess, is anything that goes wrong with capitalism is not capitalism's fault. It's actually the fault of the government, even though the fucking government is the reason why capitalism is able to work. Because if it weren't for the government, what you would have is feudalism. You just have a few fucking kings fighting over scraps. It's like these people are stupid. Oh, if Michael Bay directed the sequel trilogy, it would be terrible, but at least it'd be so bad it'd be hilarious. I no, just no. Oh, okay. Well, you missed. Well, this is an open stream, so any topic is fair game. Oh God, how many times do you have to reboot shit? That's just dumb. Yeah, the freaking the SJWs. They're stupid. There's no civil war going on in Lucasfilm. It's so ridiculous. Then again, Doomcock knows. I gotta address Doomcock. I don't think Doomcock believes anything he says. I think people who call him an idiot, like the Urban Acolyte, they're they don't know what they're talking about. If you look at Doomcock, he doesn't believe any of this shit. He's a grifter. He's doing this for clicks. That's what most of these rumors are. That's why, he does it. That's why he gets so many views. He sees that he can report anything and he'll get a lot of views. Why do you think freaking Doomcock does it? If these rumors didn't give Doomcock views, would he report on them? Fuck no. Because what actually gives you views is not telling the truth. It's basically, talking about a bunch of nonsense. So if anything, I think Urban Acolyte is the idiot for actually thinking that Doomcock believes the nonsense that he spews out of his mouth. He doesn't believe any of it. Doomcock doesn't believe any of it. Of course, if Doomcock does believe it, which I don't think he does, he'd be a moron. So no, Geeks and Gamers, I don't believe that he believes in most of the shit he talks about. A lot of these people are grifters. The only people that truly believe this nonsense are those that are not part of Geeks and Gamers inner circle anymore. Those are the people that actually don't believe in the nonsense. Doomcock doesn't believe the nonsense that he talks about. I don't believe he does. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. They're just outrage warriors. Oh, where are you from? Just curious. You know, for me, it's like, about 11 hours from now. They could if they can get away with it. Nope, he's a meme. I don't think he'll get into Smash Brothers. Maybe in 6 or 7, but not in Ultimate. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. All right, sorry guys, I'm just trying to keep up with your comments. Loki, it sounds interesting. I mean, yeah. I don't fuck the serfs. They're not the first people to actually expose Doomcock as a fascist. Chud Logic has done that actually long before he has. But doesn't surprise me. I don't like the serfs, by the way. I'm just letting you know. Considering their bullshit smears of Jason, Unruh. I don't watch TV. If I have to be honest here, I don't think Geeks and Gamers believes most of the shit he says. He admits that he does this for the views. He did it on multiple occasions. I do not think Jeremy actually believes in most of the stuff he talks about. He's a grifter. Why would he say something good about The Last Jedi and then suddenly, fuck this movie, it's terrible? He does it for the views. You cannot trust Geeks and Gamers on anything he says. He sees a money-making opportunity and he does it for the views. He doesn't care. He's not genuine. It's one of the reasons why I can't stand him, because he's a fucking grifter. You mean, okay? I know this is gonna be unpopular with maybe the older members of my generation and Gen X. 80s cartoons were trash outside of Ghostbusters. They were trash. They were toy commercials. They don't stand the test of time. Like the installments in other parts of the franchise are much better. Beast Wars is better than G1. The 2003 TMNT series, the 2012 are better than the 87 Ninja Turtles series. I've heard that the newer versions of Thundercat is better, and He-Man, and honestly any newer version of an 80s cartoon is better than the old one. I'm sorry. Yep, that is true. I don't know. I don't we can't solely blame, Red Letter Media, but they did have a part in it. Because you can't solely blame them for ruining the Star Wars fandom. I would also just blame the entitled fanboys, who are the loudest voices in the Star Wars fandom, saying everybody hates the prequels when that's not even true. People basically, rewriting history and acting like prequel fans never existed, or shutting down prequel fans, or preventing, prequel fans from even speaking out. Or when they do speak out in defense, they do mass harassment campaigns to shut these people down. So yeah, they've created the toxic culture that currently exists in the Star Wars fandom, but that culture has existed before the Red Letter Media, reviews. But they are a catalyst for things getting as bad as they are now. I don't actually care if they make him gender fluid or non-binary. I really don't care. Be honest with you, since becoming a communist, I've stopped caring about that nonsense. They want to make a character gay? Sure, who fucking cares? Oh wait, she's talking about Dune? Oh my god. No, 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 no. God, I hate this. Oh god, that Star Wars girl. She should shut the fuck up. Fuck the Rabbids. I will never forgive them for ruining TMNT Smash Up. They're fucking abominations. Yeah, I would agree, but I don't know anything about some of the other two because I haven't watched them. Got any plans for the new year? Nothing really, except reading, losing weight. Not really exciting goals, but that's just my goals. And I'm going to say this about He-Man right now. They should make He-Man gay. I don't care. I know this is going to get pushed back on anti-SJWs, but anybody that actually thinks He-Man was anything but gay has never paid attention to the original series. Do you look? Have these people not seen how he looks, how he dresses, how he walks, how he talks? He-Man is totally gay. He-Man is a gay character. Change my mind. Nobody's changed my mind. I will die on this hill. He-Man is gay. Of course they're not happy. They're not happy about anything. They're homophobic. They're transphobic. And what the hell kind of phobic? They can't stand the idea of a freaking non-white male, not white, sorry, a non-white straight male being the center of fucking everything. They cannot stand it. Why is Hollywood woke? Well, it's capitalism and they want to make money. Oh my god, why are they trying to cater to China? Because there's a market in China. It's like these people can't understand how capitalism works. They think, oh my god, Disney is communist, even though they're fucking capitalist. Okay, here's the thing. I was introduced to TMNT through the 87 Ninja Turtle series. But I'm more of a fan of the darker and grittier takes of the Turtles, such as the Mirage comics in the 2003 series and the first Ninja Turtles movie. That's my favorite takes on the Turtles. The best take, though, currently is the new comics, in my opinion. I can't wait for the new Dune movie. It's it's better than getting COVID, but I can sympathize. What's really stupid? Okay, the thing about weebs that they don't understand, Japan is the part. It censors some of this stuff they're talking about because Japan's laws on violence and sexual content is different than it was in the 1990s, especially violence. So they should have shut the fuck up because they don't know how censorship works in Japan. That majority of the censorship they're complaining about is being done by the Japanese themselves, not by fucking Americans or America. Weebs never had to, they didn't have to deal with censorship in anime. These fucking motherfuckers didn't even get into anime until, like, you know, Crunchyroll became a thing. Because most of us fucking fans who actually became anime fans in the early 2000s and late 1990s, we had to actually watch bootlegs of most of the anime that we watched. We had to freaking watch fan subs. It was very difficult to, like, watch, you know, anime before, you know, Crunchyroll became a thing. Those people are idiots. Yeah, I will say weebs are pedos. At least a good amount of them are. I'd say they're mostly pedos. I mean, they defend child porn. I mean, wasn't the quartering defending, like, Lolicon, as far as I recall? I don't understand why anyone would defend Lolly. I fucking hate Lolly, by the way. Lolly hentai. It's like, God. Yeah, she's a good YouTuber. In fact, she is what basically motivated me to read the Star Trek expanded universe, because I didn't know where to begin, and she recommended some stories I wanted, you know, to read. I'm currently reading in Star Trek. I'll review it probably early 2021. Is Star Trek Final Frontier, which is a Star Trek novel that was published in the late 1980s about, Kirk, reading letters about his father, George Kirk. And we actually get to read about, the first, adventure of the USS Enterprise. But you had parts of it that take place in the present. You have parts of it that take place in the past. It's a pretty good read. I'm looking forward to reviewing it, honestly. They don't. Okay, the thing is, a lot of these nerds, young Ripa, they don't understand capitalism. They're just a bunch of edgelords that say, I'm an anarcho-capitalist, which they probably don't even know what anarcho-capitalism is. And what's sad is they're respected in fandom. Yeah, who cares if there's an all fucking women Star Wars show? It's so stupid to get triggered over the littlest thing. I mean, seriously. Well, okay, if we're going by the on-screen takes on the Turtles, I would agree. The 2003 and 2012, versions of the Turtles, I think are great, the best incarnations on screen. Though I still my favorite take is definitely the darker versions. I'd love to see a darker take of the Turtles, on screen. Yeah, censorship is neither good or bad. It's how you do it. It's bad. It's what's bad. I think all of us believe in some form of censorship, one way or another. And I believe if you don't believe it in any form of censorship, you're lying, because we all don't believe people should be able to do whatever the hell they want or say whatever the hell they want. I mean, if you don't believe in censoring child porn, you're a fucking, then I question your morality. Oh, God. Despicable Me should have had only one movie. I was turned off by the rest of them because I have no interest in watching sequels. Well, He-Man is, yeah, He-Man's totally gay. Yeah, it is stupid, but Japan has a strict laws regarding violence in video games. honestly. God of War in the Japanese version, it was censored. At least in the first one, where instead of sacrificing a human, you sacrificed a zombie. Japan's very strict about about violence in video games and have been, since the 2000s. If you're wondering why Dragon Ball Z had and Fist of the North Star had blood and gore in their anime, but their modern versions don't, it's because of the laws in Japan have changed since then. It's why Dragon Ball Kai doesn't have, the violent level that Z has. It's because of the censorship. It's why in the final arc of Bleach, when it eventually gets adapted, you're not going to see Yamamoto get cut in half because, the censorship, because it's on a certain time slot. And it's also why Bleach at some point had its violence toned down because of that as well. I mean, you cannot, do the things that you used to do in Japan. No, I don't know anything about Japan, but I do know some things about their censorship laws, and they're different than they were back then. No. The Simpsons should just be canceled. The show needs to be put out of its misery. Oh, fuck the Minions. The Minions, no. They could go to hell. I love the first TMNT movie. It's my favorite TMNT movie of the entire franchise. It's the best and most accurate, adaptation of the comics to this very day. I can't say, honestly, when it comes to video games, I have too many games you wouldn't even believe. My backlog is so big that I don't know if I'll be able to realistically be able to play all my games. The game I'm most excited for 2021 is Tales of Arise. Hopefully it comes out and doesn't get delayed another year. It's pure out of control what Sony is doing, and pure double standard. Okay, you will censor all these niche Japanese titles like Senran Kagura and Hyperdimension Neptunia for sexual content, yet you won't do the same thing for your games that have sexual content. I just think it's hypocritical. Honestly. It really is. If you're going to be, I'd have respect for Sony if they were at least logically consistent. Honestly. Yeah, any child porn should be banned, and anyone that defends the existence of child porn should fucking die. And I'm a sadist, and I will die on this hill, which I think all of us would. People that defend the existence of child pornography are scum, regardless if it's animated or if it's drawn or in real life. They should all be shot. They should all be shot in the head and let's be done with it. We cannot reason with pedophiles. I agree. I personally think movies need to stop having sequels. I don't know. I've played when I play the recent God of War, I think it's all right. Dragon Ball Super, I've watched up into the Goku Black saga. I don't think it's bad. Honestly, Dragon Ball Super, it had a rough start with basically doing the first two arcs that were movies into an anime was a bad idea. They should have gone straight to Universe, 6. I personally think, starting off just retelling the same story that was already told, a few years ago at the time it was released. Resurrection F, not even a year, was a terrible idea. And it seemed like Dragon Ball Super was just made because it's like, holy shit, Dragon Ball is so popular. Let's do another series. It felt like there was no plan. And it felt like Battle of Gods and Resurrection F was filler until the real show started. So I will say the first 20 something episodes of Dragon Ball Super, yeah, it's trash, if I had to be honest, objectively. Because what Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, I felt like objectively told the story better. And it was a waste of time, waiting until almost 30 episodes for the show to actually start. It's not a bad show, though I don't think wouldn't consider Dragon Ball Super trash. Ask your question. This is an open discussion stream. A Mandalorian open world game would be pretty fucking badass. I would buy that. Nope. I have not played Diablo 3. Actually, go ahead, ask. I have no comment on that. Great ideas. Okay. First, why did you become a third worldist? 2, can you explain the pan-European thing? Okay. Why did I become a third worldist? I became a third worldist because, to me, I felt like, okay, I was an ML prior to becoming a third worldist, and I feel like third worldism just makes sense to me. I don't believe there's revolutionary potential in the first world outside of the lumpen proletariat, and I don't feel like, revolution is feasible. Resistance is. And if we do want to build revolution in America, we would have to do a cultural revolution because of how reactionary the culture is. But I don't believe, that is possible. And also, I am against anything that benefits the first world, because the third world, I don't want its exploitation increasing. I'd rather have, the first world collapse first before even a revolution is possible. Now, I'm speaking from the perspective of an American, because, being a European is vastly different than being American. Also, I believe for socialism to truly be built in North America, America needs to be broken off to several different states. It cannot be the same country that it is now. Because if you step into one state into another, it's essentially a different country. California is not the same as Missouri. I'm just using Missouri because I lived in Missouri for 3 years. And Missouri isn't the same as Arizona, Arkansas, Kentucky, Kansas, etc. I feel like the most effective way to build socialism is to actually, do what I say. Then again, Jason is more educated on this than I am. As for the pan-European question, just give me a second. Actually, I've had this very discussion with somebody else earlier. Now, I don't feel like I'm qualified to really talk about pan-Europeanism. If there was one mistake I made in that stream, this month that I did, was perhaps I should have waited a little bit before I talked about it, and not because I did it on impulse. And that's a criticism I can, give to myself, regarding, pan-Europeanism. The problem with Europeanism is there's barely any different, people don't know the difference between reactionary pan-Europeanism to revolutionary, pan-Europeanism. And pan-Europeanism is, and I'm going by the revolutionary version of it, is to, destroy whiteness, while reactionary is to reinforce whiteness. Now, again, I'm not the most qualified to talk about this. Jason Unruh, I feel like, is far more educated on this subject than I am. I hope that's a satisfactory answer, because that's the best I could come up with. And thank you for your questions. I appreciate it. It gave me a chance to clarify something, because a lot of people, when I said I'm for pan-Europeanism, they think I'm advocating for Nazism, which that's not what I am advocating for. I'm advocating for people of European descent to, those who reject their American identity, to learn about their European identity. That's essentially why I pushed it in the first place. I should have waited to actually to push my point of pan-Europeanism. If that was the biggest mistake I made, was coming out too soon. Same thing with the third worldists. I came out too soon regarding that too. But what's said is said, and I can't undo what I said. Now, okay, I'm just gonna see if he. Okay, I hope that's a good answer, because that's the best I could come up with. And as for anyone else who's watching this, I'm sorry for getting into this, but I had to answer that question. All right. Okay. If I have to be honest, my favorite Super Saiyan transformation is Super Saiyan 4. The only Mortal Kombat movie I liked was the first one. The second one could go suck a dick. All right, just looking. Oh, God. Star Wars Only is trash. There's a story I could tell you about Star Wars Only. I'll tell you that in a bit. First, let me look at the other comments, because I don't want to fall behind. I personally think they should keep the sequels. As much as I despise them, I would hate Disney and the sequels more if they're not willing to commit. You can't make a mistake and just, I'm going to erase it. No. If us EU fans have to deal with terrible things that happen in our continuity, then I feel like canon fans should be able to deal with it as well. Those who follow the canon should have to deal with the bad shit in it. You can't just erase a mistake because it's inconvenient. That's how I feel about the sequel trilogy being erased. You can't erase the sequel trilogy just because you fucked up. Deal with the mistakes and move on. Work around the sequels. You don't have to acknowledge them. You don't have to directly connect to them. Ignore them as much as possible. Huh. All right. Oh. What do I think of Power Rangers? It depends. My favorite incarnation of Power Rangers is in Space, Lost Galaxy, and Time Force. I think Power Rangers is a franchise that is kind of a mixed bag at times, and some of the series can be really bad, but it's something that I really do enjoy from time to time, though I prefer the Super Sentai counterpart to the Power Rangers, honestly. Okay, now that I answered your question, let's see. Okay, now I need to address. Okay, regarding the Star Wars Only, because there was, Star Wars Only. Sorry, guys, there's so many comments. Okay, Star Wars Only. I have a story to tell you. There was a thing between me and Star Wars Only. We did have a back and forth back in 2017, and that's when Star Wars Only attacked another Star Wars YouTuber, when he was essentially talking about there was no point of reading the canon, and Star Wars Only was being a dick and basically being an asshole and attacking the person for pointing out objective truths. And I called out Star Wars Only for that. Star Wars Only responded, and I responded back. And if you're familiar with the meme, Star Wars only. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. That's where it came from. It came from that video. But that video does not exist because I wanted to deprive Star Wars only and his fanboys of that meme. And if you've noticed, that meme is dead because I deleted that video. Shadow the Hedgehog is a guilty pleasure of mine. I know it's a bad video game, but I still enjoy it for what it is. I cannot comment on that. I haven't seen those. I don't watch video game cartoons. You're welcome. It's very. I have a lot. I have my audience in this video is bigger than usual, so keeping up with all these comments is very hard. I might consider doing this more often. Maybe once a month, doing a open discussion stream where we discuss anything. Anyway, looking for. Sorry, since I've been talking for so long, I'm just gonna have a quick drink of water. All right. Okay. I hate Sonic 06. I draw the line with Sonic 06, to be honest. But I respect you liking Sonic 06. We don't call it the cuties. We call it the shame. I refuse to call it by its name. The shame. I will not watch a movie that endorses pedophilia. The shame, every single copy should be destroyed, and every person that defended it should be put in prison. Vosh, especially, should be bitch slapped and shot for actually defending that movie. And anybody that talks about the shame, no, you should be ashamed of yourself. I haven't seen the Sonic live action movie, and I still haven't. He is a rebel, Sonic. He's a terrorist. Hello. I'm not an expert on this. I do enjoy Godzilla, but I haven't seen Godzilla for a long time. I'm not a Godzilla fan, but I do enjoy Godzilla when I see it. As long as I'm watching it subbed and not the horrible dubs. Lord of the Rings should be left alone, for crying out loud. And the Phantom Menace will complain about anything for clicks. They don't generally care about the source material. I doubt they know anything about Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings doesn't need fucking sex scenes. I'm just going to say it right now. And anyone that's actually supports a sex scene in Middle Earth, no. J.R.R. Tolkien would be kicking in his grave over this shit. Lord of the Rings is supposed to be, Lord of the Rings is essentially a Catholic story. And Middle Earth in general, it's anti-Tolkien to do this. You want fucking sex scenes in a medieval fantasy? Make your own fucking series. Don't fucking put it in Lord of the Rings. It's fucking bullshit. I haven't seen Operation Overdrive yet, honestly. I've only seen up till, Wild Force. I'm currently watching Ninja Storm. I dropped Power Rangers, after, Lost Galaxy. So a lot of the series I've been watching, I haven't seen them, until like almost 20 years after they aired. I don't know. I think Trump is a bitch. I think he will concede. Trump is too much of a coward. Yeah. I know. Remember, people, do not use that pedophile movie's name. Call it The Shame. That's what it's going to be called, and that's what it'll always will be known as. I don't have the time to watch his reviews, if I had to be honest. Lucara is definitely, a good analysis for Power Rangers. If you want a good analysis on the Power Rangers franchise. Yep, that's what Sonic is. Favorite Star Trek media, Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek series. In fact, I finished that series during the pandemic. The series was great. Star Trek. I think Deep Space Nine is Star Trek at its best. I should do some videos on Star Trek in the future, talking about individual episodes. I should do that actually. If I had my own, if I had my own garden and farm, what would you do? What would I do? Well, I don't know. I'd just make enough food for me, myself, and my family. That's simply what I would do. That I mean, I'm not a business person. I would just make food for myself and my family. Yeah, he would be pissed. Same thing with this with Christopher. The first RoboCop is the best. No question. Whoever nominated it should be shot. Then again, Hollywood's full of pedophiles. Fuck Hollywood and fuck the pedophiles. I haven't seen it. My favorite Sonic character, well, is Shadow the Hedgehog. Despite Shadow the Hedgehog kind of maybe ruining him as a character, I still like Shadow because I think he's a badass and I think he has a tragic backstory. I do think Shadow would have been better off if he died in Sonic Adventure 2 and never came back. Because him coming back, I feel like ruined the character. I cannot comment on that. I really cannot. Of course, if you wanted my least favorite Sonic character, well, we don't acknowledge Chris from Sonic X, but let's just say I hate that character with a passion. And he's the worst Sonic character in existence. He is the biggest Gary Sue to ever exist in Sonic. The only other character that's worse is Elise. I have every Star Trek series with the exception of Picard and Enterprise, at my house. I have all of them except those two. Yes, I do have the first two seasons of Star Trek Discovery. My favorite Autobot and Decepticon. My favorite Autobot, I know it's cliche to say this, is Optimus Prime and Wheeljack were probably my favorite Autobots. My favorite Decepticons would be Starscream and Soundwave would be my favorite Decepticons. Nope, it can no longer be thought provoking. You're correct on that. Nope. I've not watched those movies, though I will review the books next year. Yes, it was. The shame was, was made by that. And then again, it doesn't surprise me. Yes, he would. Oh, I'm getting Enterprise eventually. I'm waiting for a sale. By the way, Star Trek Discovery, I bought used. I didn't. CBS did not get my money for Star Trek Discovery. I won't be surprised. But then again, the Fandom Menace will, like, The Oscars endorse pedophilia. I just imagine him saying that now. Yeah. The shame is just Islamophobic. That's exactly what it is. It's it's pro pedophilia and it's Islamophobic. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Honestly, how probably one of the most racist movies, in recent years is getting nominated. Then again, it's fucking Hollywood, so it shouldn't come as a surprise. I honestly, I don't really like the Unicron trilogy. Armada's all right. Then again, I'm watching Armada subbed, not the dub, so I cannot say about the rest of the two. Then again, I'm not a fan of the Japanese Transformers shows in general. Honestly, I'm more of a fan of Beast Wars and Transformers Prime. That's my Transformers. Honestly, in my head canon, you know, Peach and Bowser are an item, and Mario is just a idiot that is in on their little game that they like to play. It's a little kink, and Mario, unfortunately, is part of the game. I can't comment on Discovery or Lower Decks. I can't really comment on that. I cannot. Honestly, I'm gonna rewatch season 1 of Mandalorian and season 2. I'll give you my full thoughts on it, next year. Like not next year, like in the next give it 2 weeks and you'll give it a few weeks and you'll get my full thoughts. Yeah. We don't call it freaking that thing. Oh, I love Nintendo. Sega's pretty cool. Which Tron? If you're referring to the original, I think the original is pretty good. It's one of my favorite movies of my childhood. Let's see. It's an open topic stream. If you have any questions, Pride Tune, just type it and I'll answer it. If you have any questions, I would ask now. It's okay. All right. Just ask any question that's on your mind because this is an open discussion stream and I'll answer whatever questions you have. All right. Let's see. Interesting. Wow. To think that B level was the only one who thought that way. Anyway, I'd like to know why you don't like Mandalorian. I'm curious. I love I do okay. I have a love and hate relationship with Nintendo. I love their games and I love their consoles, but the company are a bunch of fucking assholes. If that makes sense. I I love Nintendo and hate Nintendo at the same time. My favorite Transformers comic would probably be The War Within, the first one. I know, it's not considered the best Transformers story by Transformers fans, but I love the art for it and I love the character designs for the Transformers. And I like the very concept of doing a Transformers prequel on Cybertron. It's one of the reasons why I like the comic to begin with. I mean, I must have reread that comic so many times when it came out. I love that. I do love that comic despite, you know, the problems that it may have. Oh, I know about that. The Death Note. Oh boy. I'd kill all the bourgeoisie. That's what I do with the Death Note. I'd kill all the bankers. I'd kill all. I'd probably there'd probably be a lot of dead rich people in under 24 hours. And then I'd probably wipe out all of Congress, the all of the Supreme Justices. There would be nobody left, honestly, in Washington by the time I'd be done with the Death Note. Honestly, that's what I would do if the Death Note existed. Oh, of course it is. I'm not a music expert. I'm the wrong person to ask. Yeah, I agree. I have not watched his video for years, but it doesn't surprise me. He is a liberal after all, and liberals defend pedophilia. I agree. Then again, when I watched for the first season, I'm not gonna lie, I did fall for the spell for a brief time. Oh my god, this is so great. B Level has been making videos, but it's on Ewoks Unhinged. And we're not doing Unhinged videos until like January. I'll bring this to his attention. Actually. No, I do not. I'm too far behind. I'm like 20 volumes behind when it comes to the IDW Transformers collections. There's no feasible way I'd be able to actually collect them. Oh yeah, Transformers the game was great. I did a live stream of it on my channel. I have a Super Nintendo Classic actually, and I have a shit ton of games on it. From Turtles in Time all the way to the rest of the Donkey Kong countries, some other rare games that were never released here. Oh yes, if I had the Death Note, oh yes, I would, and the King of Saudi Arabia. I mean, why not? And whatever people from the Israeli, government. Like I said, I'd probably run out of names very quickly. And if once everything is done, said and done, I would burn the Death Note as soon as I'm done with my mission. Then I don't know. I'd use it on the bourgeoisie. That's what I would use the Death Note for. I wouldn't go that far. Of course, yeah. Let's see. I have no comment. I don't have HBO. Oh, Immortal Techniques music's great. He does hate the Mandalorian. B Level doesn't really like Dave Filoni in general, actually. Oh, you would love to hear me react to Michael Bay's Transformers movies. Oh God. Unfortunately, I no longer have my Super Nintendo. I still have my GBA, my SP, honestly. I do have a PSP and a Vita. Yes. They're a Vita. I know not many people own Vitas, but I have one. Nope. I'm not afraid of getting censored. Oh God, if it gets a sequel, God help us all. God help us all if it ever gets a sequel. I mean, seriously. If it ever gets a sequel, God help us. Everything in the Bay universe gets more personality in the games and in the comics than they do in the actual movies. I can't even tell you the personalities of any of the Autobots and Decepticons outside of Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. I can't tell you any of their personalities. It's actually funny. China made a better Pokemon game than Game Freak has, at least graphically. Anyway, I don't know why. Alien Resurrection. That's no question the worst movie in Aliens. Alien Resurrection is an abomination. It's one of the worst movies of all time. Honestly. My God. Sam just thinking for a second. This is a long. Let's see. Oh yeah, I played Batman Returns on the Super Nintendo. It's pretty awesome. As for Disney's Aladdin, what I've heard from people who played the Genesis and Super Nintendo version, the Genesis version is actually better than the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin. Oh, I fully support ROMs. If you cannot play a game any other way, ROMs is the way to go. I mean, a lot of the games I've played that I have on my Super Nintendo Classic, it's because of ROMs. Like I would never been able to play some Japanese games from Japan if it weren't for ROMs. If you want to play a actually good version of Final Fantasy V and Final Fantasy VI, you have to resort to ROMs. In fact, most of the Final Fantasy games, the early ones, you have no choice but to do ROMs because Final Fantasy 4, well, 5 and 6 anyway, are so goddamn hard to find that you have no choice but to freaking use ROMs because Square Enix has yet to re-release those games. Yes, you might be able to get the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy 6 on Virtual Console on the Wii U, but who fucking owns a Wii U these days? So ROMs to me, I have nothing against ROMs. Pirate every fucking game you can. I'm fully on board with piracy because I think it's wrong not to support the developers is nothing more than reactionary consumerist nonsense. Fuck the game developers, honestly. They don't actually they don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about the people they treat like shit. If you ask me, every game should be pirated. Yeah, you heard it here. Every game should be pirated. Under a capitalist society, we have to get our entertainment somehow. And if we don't have the money to actually, play these games, fuck it. Let's just play them by any means necessary. A ROM. Oh, okay. You know what an emulator is, right? Sub money. Well, without ROMs, an emulator is just a thing that takes up space on your computer. A ROM is essentially like a NES, Super NES, Genesis, GBA, Game Boy Color, games that you download onto your computer. If you have any sort of skills, you can hack, let's say, a PSP, a Vita, a Wii, and let's see. Yeah, I'm just using various examples in order to play those games on those hardware. Like if you want to play, let's just say, Sonic the Hedgehog on the PSP, you'd have to get a ROM and an emulator and a hacked PSP in order to do it. That's just an example. I mean, you need ROMs in order to actually do anything with an emulator. Otherwise, the emulator is just taking up space. I haven't seen Alien Covenant. I agree with Hakeem. Alanin is racist. Hakeem was correct. I haven't played either version, to be honest, so I can't really comment. I like. I think. Wait, Angry Joe. I don't watch them. I cannot comment on that. Hakeem was referring to, wait, hold on. Who's? Oh, I'm sorry. I got to keep up with this comment. Oh yeah, yeah. Hakeem was referring to the cartoon, actually, not the live action movie. Though he probably would feel the same about the live action version. Thank you for watching, Pride Tunes. I wish you were able to sit through more of the stream. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is. I thought you were referring to what Hakeem was referring to. Oh. Oh, what the hell? Yep, classic video. I'm pretty much becoming a retro gamer. I think they will eventually get Blu-ray releases. I mean, come on. Fucking Funimation fucking cannot resist not to get those releases. But to be honest, Dragon Ball Z is, I'm referring to Z, not Kai. It is, you have to go through a bunch of fucking hoops just to get a good release for Dragon Ball Z. Oh, you want the Dragon Box? Well, you gotta pay like fucking a fucking loan for your goddamn house just to get fucking most of the series on fucking the Dragon Box because it's so goddamn expensive. If you weren't fortunate to grab those fucking things when they came out, it's to the point where it's cheaper to import the Japanese Dragon Boxes than it is to buy the American ones. Or just to fucking pirate them. The issue with Dragon Ball and GT, I just don't see, Funimation re-releasing them on Blu-ray, anytime soon. If they do, it's probably going to most likely be in those SD Blu-ray sets where it's going to be, put like the entire series on like 1 or 2 disc. That's the most I can see when it comes to Blu-ray releases. Like what, I forgot what company owns the rights to Fist of the North Star. Like what happened with Fist of the North Star when it was released on Blu-ray. It was released on Blu-ray, but it was an SD like Blu-ray sets where it just crammed like all the episodes into 3 discs. That's what I think what's going to happen with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. Like they're to cram like the entire GT series possibly into 2 discs. That's how I think they're going to do it. Austin Powers, I think the first one is the best one in my opinion. I don't want to get into this debate, but I probably would say Superman. Yeah, I don't oppose Switch ports, to be honest, to Wii U games, considering the fact that, a lot of these games are not even, accessible anymore, and it's hard to get a Wii U, so why keep them on a dead console? Oh yeah, I love that era too. I can't comment on that. Let's see. The orange bricks are fucking awful, objectively. I mean, okay, I'm not getting into this like the aspect ratio of why they're terrible. If you compare them to other releases, to other anime, the Dragon Ball Z sets, you would know why they're problematic. Why the orange bricks are terrible. Everything is bright as shit. It makes, the series look objectively worse. And not to mention, it doesn't fix anything. Look at you want to know an example why the orange bricks are shit? There's videos on YouTube you can find comparing the level set, which unfortunately they ended after the second one, to the orange bricks, and you'll see why they're terrible. Compare Dragon Ball Kai on Blu-ray or even DVD to Dragon Ball Z, the orange bricks. They're terrible. Whether they're on DVD or Blu-ray, they're terrible. The only reason they sold well is because it's the cheapest way to get Dragon Ball Z. That's the only reason they sold well. In fact, I argue getting Dragon Ball Z is kind of a waste of money. If it's essentially considered there's no good releases for Dragon Ball Z, you're better off just getting Kai. Kai's cheaper and it's in better quality. And it doesn't look like shit. It doesn't look like oh my God, what the fuck happened to this? Why is everything so bright? The Dragon Ball Blu-rays suck, honestly. No, I mean Z, you know what I mean. Every other anime that I own on Blu-ray has a better, picture than Dragon Ball Z. Inuyasha, that Blu-ray is better than Dragon Ball Z. It's not even a contest. Sailor Moon is better than Dragon Ball Z in terms of its Blu-rays. And I own all of Sailor Moon on Blu-ray. The 90s one, not the Sailor Moon Crystal. Okay. Now I'm just going to look at the comments. I don't even see. Oh, shit. Okay, I know I'm going to address that. Yeah, who cares? Like I said, who cares? I'm not completely against piracy. You're not the only person. I don't like The Last Jedi, but it's the best movie of the sequel trilogy. As bad as it is, at least it's art, unlike the other films. It would have been great. Too bad we never got it. Well, yes, but the Blu-rays are not that much better. It's just the yeah. Okay, sorry, yeah. Yes, I know, but the orange bricks on Blu-ray, it's just taking a shitty, DVD and just amping it up on Blu-ray. Honestly, they're terrible. Honestly, I like Fairy Tail because of the action and because of the fights. I don't give a shit about the fan service or all that other stuff that the fan some of those people like it for. Kai is better than Z objectively. I mean, who the fuck wants to sit through all that filler? Jesus, so much. Honestly, Fairy Tail to me, I enjoy it for what it is, and it's not a poor man's One Piece. One Piece and Fairy Tail are completely different stories. Any people who say that about Fairy Tail have never seen the Fairy Tail anime or read the manga. It's not the greatest anime ever, but you'd be lying if you said One Piece is better than Fairy Tail, the anime anyway, because the fucking anime of Fairy Tail runs circles around One Piece. I mean, the One Piece anime progresses at such a slow pace that I had to resort to reading the manga in order to enjoy One Piece because it was progressing too slowly. That's how bad the pacing was. For the One Piece anime, that is why that I switched to the manga. Now, if you want to watch the One Piece anime and you don't want to read the manga, the only other option is to watch the heavily edited version of One Piece called One Piece. Now, what is One Piece? I will explain it. It's essentially One Piece. Think of it as One Piece Kai that removes all the filler, all the panning, everything that you probably hate about One Piece, and makes it a far better experience of enjoying the series. Not only does it progress at a faster rate, it doesn't feel slow like the anime does. Now, some arcs are still going to be slow because, well, they were slow in the manga, like Dressrosa. Dressrosa is 48 episodes in this version of One Piece. But then again, 48 episodes is an improvement over 118 episodes. Fairy Tail doesn't have this problem when it comes to pacing in the anime. In the anime, it's faster. It honestly, and not to mention in the anime, Fairy Tail also, doesn't do what One Piece does. The animation for Fairy Tail is far better than One Piece as well. So, as an anime, Fairy Tail is better than One Piece. The story itself, though, the manga, there's no contest. One Piece all the way. Let's see. Okay. I didn't say that. I didn't watch that. I'm just looking up the comments. Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like One Piece fans just don't acknowledge just how bad the pacing for One Piece is. One Piece and Fairy Tail have their pros and cons. One Piece has a better, manga. The story is better. The world building is better in One Piece. The characters are better. But one thing Fairy Tail has over One Piece is Fairy Tail, gets to the meat of the story faster. One Piece, unfortunately, we live in an age where people are impatient and need instant gratification. One Piece takes 50 episodes to get to the real story. The manga takes 100 chapters to get to the main story, because I don't know if you guys know this, the first 50 episodes of One Piece is the prologue, and the first 100 chapters of One Piece is also the prologue. And if you don't have the patience, it could be a turnoff, because not a lot really happens in the first 100 chapters of One Piece compared to a series like Naruto, Bleach, as an example, or Fairy Tail. A lot, doesn't really happen of One Piece, but One Piece in the first, half of the series is all building up to something. And unless you have the patience to sit through One Piece, you're going to be turned off by it. That's why, for me, One Piece biggest strength is the world building. And I do feel like a lot of people that would hate on One Piece kind of have a short attention span because they want instant gratification. They want things to, happen immediately. That's why series like Fairy Tail, have a fan base over One Piece. That's why Dragon Ball Z is more popular than One Piece to this very day. That's why Naruto is more popular. That's why Bleach is more popular. I'm referring to the West, not in Japan. Purely because a lot of people in the West are impatient and cannot, wait for something to happen. They need something to happen. And that's why a series like One Piece never really stood a chance of getting popular in North America, purely because a lot of people are impatient. It's unfortunate, but One Piece, just doesn't have the appeal in the West like it does in Japan. That's just my take on it. Fuck Zack Snyder. That's all I have to say. I haven't played it. All right, have a good day, Sub Money. Well, are you referring to One Piece or are you referring to Fairy Tail? Or both? I don't know what you're referring to. See, I'll just wait. Man, I can't believe I've been doing this for almost 2 hours. Oh, I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is. Oh, yeah, I think it's a good anime. It's just, a lot of the things that people like about it are superficial, like the waifu baiting, the fan service. I do like the characters, and I do think I do like the action scenes. I think the soundtrack is awesome. I think Fairy Tail, doesn't take itself too seriously, and I like that about Fairy Tail. That's one of the reasons I got into it in the first place. It's I think the problem is the anime fans take shit way too fucking seriously. I mean, in fact, they take a lot of these series they love way too goddamn seriously, and some of these series that they love don't take themselves that seriously. That's just my 2 cents on it. I would love to see the Toy Story anime. I mean, holy shit! What kind of anime would we have for Toy Story if we had an anime? I forgot they existed. If I had to be honest. Let's see. I feel like my stream is peaked. Honestly, I feel like it's pretty much almost time to end this stream. But I'm not going to end this stream without an announcement because since we're near the end of this stream, I feel like it is time that I announced what I'm going to do tomorrow. Because tomorrow is a new year. Tomorrow is when things truly start. Honestly, when it comes to my new podcast that I have planned, and I've had it planned since since for the past few weeks, I've been wanting to get this podcast started, and well, I'm going to show you a podcast that I have planned, and what is the topic going to be? Because I'm just going to be showing you what this podcast is going to be. So, without further ado, I'm just going to do, screen share, and I'm just going to show you my future podcast, what it's going to be. And, well, there it is. Yes, there is a new podcast, and it is called The Jedi's Cantina. The Jedi's Cantina is going to be a different kind of podcast than the State of Star Wars was when I was in charge of it. The Jedi's Cantina is essentially, I consider it the real State of Star Wars, the real success to State of Star Wars. Because I've seen what the State of Star Wars has become, and I'm disgusted. No, I'm not going to say why. I'll just leave it up for you guys to figure that out. It was a mistake for me to give General CGG and, leadership over State of Star Wars. And if you're wondering why I haven't, been working with those guys, it's because we kind of had a falling out behind the scenes. I would rather keep this under wraps, but considering how General has been acting and treating people. By the way, these are just rumors. I just hear rumors from people who actually follow certain people, in the State of Star Wars. So all this information comes directly from them. Now, what is the topic for the first Jedi's Cantina, the spiritual successor to State of Star Wars? It's the state of positive and negative fandom. It's kind of a general stream, just like this one will be. The Jedi's Cantina will be streams. They won't be podcasts in the same way that the old State of Star Wars podcasts were. They'll be streams like this one where I interact with my audience, where I talk to my audience and actually tell them, or actually just talk to them regarding what we're talking about. Now, positive and negative fandom, I don't know how it's going to go, but I feel like it could be something really good, and I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know how this is going to go, but I have a good feeling that the Jedi's Cantina is going to be a success. And I just wanted to make that announcement towards the end because since this stream is pretty much, over at this point, I feel like it's only appropriate that I actually just, showcase, the upcoming podcast that's coming tomorrow. And I might as well just address this one last thing. I agree with you. I think the issue with One Piece, this is probably a stream I could talk about another time in greater depth, is I feel like it should have been a seasonal anime. Like, My Hero Academia. But then again, Soatia will never allow One Piece to be a seasonal series. So I just want to address that last thing. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I cannot answer that. Anyway, since the viewership is kind of dropping and I'm approaching the 2-hour mark, I feel like I've said everything I need to say. Stay tuned for the first, podcast of Jedi's Cantina. See you guys next time with another video, and Happy New Year, and stay safe.